Welcome back to
Monday Mukbang.
Monday Mukbang, or Mukbang Monday, whichever way you say it. But we are eating tacos today. So I have my taco all made up. John looks like he's just putting his together now. Nicholas has his. Let's talk through some of the products we have here. We've got the meat. I think that's what John's looking for, which is a combination of Beyond Meat beef crumbles, because we only had like half a package of this, and then we had a fresh package of the Gardein beefless ground round. So that's our meat for our taco today. We're eating the Violife cheese that I believe you guys just saw in last week's taste test video. I'm using the provolone. We have the cheddar here as well. I don't know if anybody's interested in that. We've got some spring mix and salsa, and then I ate all the tomatoes are on my plate because nobody else eats tomatoes.
Regular tomatoes.
Yeah, eats on raw tomatoes. I'm the only one in the house that really likes raw tomatoes. So anyway, we decided we were gonna have tacos tonight. We're actually filming this on a Tuesday, so it's Taco Tuesday, but you guys are seeing Monday Mukbang. Nicholas would like another flour tortilla, please. And we're using Mission taco shells. I think the last taco mukbang we did, I talked about my love of corn tortillas. And this is not a corn tortilla. This is a carb balance Mission tortilla. It's a whole wheat, or this is not a whole. This is a flour tortilla. And both John and Neil are eating the whole wheat tortillas. But basically they just have more fiber in them. So it makes them a little bit more carb friendly if you're watching your carbs. I know a lot of vegans are not worried about carbs, but yeah. So these are just a little bit lower in net carbs. They're actually the same number of carbs. It's just that they have more fiber, so that they have a little bit lower net carb.
But yeah, we're doing a
Neil, I made some salsa. Nick wants some salsa.
I'm gonna hook them up.
You want me to have the cheddar? I'm gonna the cheddar.
Cheddar?
Yeah, why not? No one else is eating it.
So, we don't necessarily have a specific topic to talk about tonight.
It's raining.
It is raining.
Surprise!
And I know that last week's mukbang, these guys talked about going back to school.
We did?
Yes, you did. And
Yes,
I
we
can
did.
tell you that we're actually in the process this week of getting ready for school. John's back to work already. And Nicholas
you excited?
went in to meet his teachers today, his teachers for this year. He's in 5th grade.
I'll be excited to get the year up and running, but the actual preliminary stuff where I run around and make sure everything is organized is not always my favorite spot, but it does give me hope. You know, it's always nice to see when you put in the planning how everything ends up working out. And for the first time ever, I'm actually mentoring another teacher who just got hired by the district. And it's going to be definitely something, it's a unique experience for me. Not only to organize a brand new classroom that I just started, but then to help someone else get acclimated to a school district and get set up with everything they need. It's not bad doing it for yourself. But today, during one of our in-service trainings, she disappeared, and the other all my other peers are like, "Hey, where'd your mentee go?" And I'm looking around, going, I'm not used to having to keep track of another adult in that framework. Yes, Nicholas. In that framework.
Put these tacos over.
So I stopped. I got out. I left the middle of the training and tried to find her, and to no avail. Actually, she was actually in a complete other part of the district. I wouldn't have found her in the building if I even if I
Wow.
tried.
She got lost.
What are you doing?
I'm just
Only
joking.
put a little bit.
Hit Nick with like a little bit of that.
What do you want in that?
Right in the middle.
She was actually in HR filling out her paperwork.
Yeah.
I just didn't know where she was, and everybody started, you know,
You want the cheddar?
when people start
Yes.
asking you these types of questions, like, well, where's your mentee, and so on and so forth, and you're like, holy smokes. She was doing what she needed
Go and
to
put another
do
scoop on there, buddy.
she was doing what she needed to do to get her paperwork finished.
Yeah, because this new teacher only got hired like a week ago, right? Pretty much. Neil today went and got his books.
Yeah, $500 later.
$500 later for 4 classes. And I'll say this, I don't know if any of you are in college or have children who are going to college or who have children who are getting ready to go to college or have siblings who are in college. Neil's in a community college, so he's not going to like a really super expensive college or anything like that, but what they're doing nowadays, which is kind of annoying as far as I'm concerned, is they're just giving you a whole bunch of loose pieces of paper. And they're expecting you to go out and buy a binder and then put them in the binder, and they're still charging you, what you said the one book was like 150 bucks?
I believe it was my economy book, not economy. My accounting book was $195, which included the
And it had no
main-
binding, right?
It had no binding. I believe it included the regular book and then I want to say a side book of some sort.
Like a workbook?
Yeah, kind of like a workbook, and it was $195. That was so. Ron
That's
did,
not something you would even like sell back.
no, that's not something I can really sell back to them or really anybody. Unless somebody's truly out there,
No, not
wanting
for
to find that
you. Not
book.
for you.
And that pretty much made up $200 of the $500. The other 3 combined to make the other $300. So, as you can see, one was a lot more expensive in terms of the other ones.
I just personally think it's kind of stinky because
At least you could sell books back.
it's not even a book.
Yeah, you can't sell that back.
It's literally a pack of papers. And I know why it's so expensive. Let's be honest, I know why it's so expensive because someone wrote that book and they have to get paid for it and it will only be good for a couple of years and, they have to make their money off it. But personally, I think it's stinky that they don't even do like actual books anymore.
I may not eat it. I may not eat it now, but I'm gonna eat it later.
That's not even bound. Like most of the time, part of the argument is, it has to be expensive because it's goes through this whole process. It's a bound book. Most textbooks are hard copy. Blah 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 blah. This isn't even bound. It's not even a bound book.
No. I think one of the more interesting things is I'm surprised at how many of them aren't online textbooks.
Yeah.
Because yes, you could. You could. I know you couldn't charge the same way for them if they're online because you don't have to go through the whole experience of having to use all the paper and ink to print them. And I know that can be a hassle for some people, especially on how large of a scale they have to print these books. But just in general, I'm surprised at how many aren't online. Or at least how many of these teachers haven't moved to the online format to just simply give you the lessons you need to learn. Especially from this past summer, I had a business class that I never bought the textbook for. I don't know if there was one or if I even needed to get one, but I didn't get it. I didn't get a textbook. But I went through the class. The class, it had all, she had pretty much everything you needed to know, or most of the stuff you needed to know for the tests and quizzes, all on the online portion. Yes, it wasn't everything in depth that maybe the book would have gone, but the teacher did upload and continuously have all the lessons, all the main points on the web, on the I don't know what to
The
say.
learning system.
Web program.
The learning system,
Yeah, the
yeah.
learning system. And I was able to pass the class with an A. You know, and I'm just more surprised. And I understand that, you know, these are all classes I'm going in for, except for one class I'm taking virtual. But that book was only $33. But all the other classes were in school. So I mean, I understand from that point, if maybe, you know, you don't want a whole bunch of students sitting with their computers open, which again I think is a bit of the problem, is not knowing what's going on in your classroom with everyone's computer open. And I know there's probably a lot of ways you can do to monitor that.
There is.
But for a community college like community college that I go to, you know, I don't know if they're really willing to up their computer staff to be able to monitor everyone at a single point, and instead of just, I mean, who knows?
Well, I find that interesting because Nicholas is in 5th grade, and his science class, his science book is going to be online. They're going to do everything in his classroom online. They're not going to actually have a book for science class this year, and they're in 5th grade. So I find that interesting that you are in college and you don't have your online books. Sorry, the girls are down here. Our dogs are down here fighting over a toy.
I mean, I would say I agree to that. Even for, I'm trying to think of what class it was. I had a class where, you know, we got I've had high school classes that I didn't even get a textbook. My physics class, I didn't get a textbook.
There's a lot of.
He saw it as unneeded, that he was able to teach. He believed more in his ability to teach than the book's ability, because, you know, I mean, he said
To provide content.
Yeah, he said we could take him, but he believed that he had enough ability and knowledge within the subject to teach us from just his experience, and he did. He did well. I was not knowledgeable. I was not good enough at learning the material as well as probably as fast as or as well as he probably would have liked, or as he did, but he never really had us do a textbook. I believe there's also another high school class that I had where they gave us both this online version of the textbook and the textbook itself. So, I mean, definitely high school, I've learned that there's not as many texts, that I haven't had to use the textbooks as much. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's just college, you know, and college professors who've written these textbooks still wanting more money out of the whole business. Who knows? But you know, walking away $500 less for books that I'm going to use for a semester, you know, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Saying as you know, $500 could have been used for a lot of different other things.
Tuition. More
Yeah.
classes.
More classes.
Well, Nicholas met his teachers today. What do you think of your teachers, Nick?
They're fine.
Good.
Yeah.
You excited to start school?
I'm always nervous.
You're nervous.
Yes.
So we met his math teacher,
Okay. Did you think your math teacher was nice?
Yeah.
Let's go.
and then he met his reading teacher as well.
Yes.
He was a little intimidated by the reading teacher. So yeah, he met those two teachers, and then he has a couple of other support teachers that he already knew that he worked with. So, but he's been in this building. The way our school district does it, they have kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade in one building, and then the second building they have 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then in the third building they have 6, 7, 8, and then high school 9 through 12 is in the 4th building.
Would recommend.
Well, I'm not going to school.
You're going to work.
I go to work all year. Nothing super exciting is going on at my work. I think I told you all that I had started I switched positions. I'm still in the same company, but I switched sites and I switched supervisors, departments, that sort of thing. So I'm in another department, and so I'm still sort of figuring things out, learning how things are working and stuff, and it's been an interesting summer, to say the least. Learning all the personalities and like different parts of my company do things different ways. So this part of my company is doing things a little bit differently than the last part of my company, and so I'm just I'm learning different things. In my last part of my company, I was more of a hands-on project manager. I know I've told you all that I'm a project manager, where I actually had a project that I managed and that I worked. And this part of the company where I'm working more with the customer than with the developers, if that makes sense. This part of the company does a lot of off-the-shelf products. So instead of like actually developing the piece of code and having the customers use it, this part of the company does more of like purchasing other companies' software and implementing it into our workflows. So it's different. It's a different environment, different type of work. Same basic idea. And I used to have, I'm a supervisor, I used to have developers and analysts reporting to me. Now I actually have project managers reporting to me. So different part of the company, different type of work. So, but still working. Haven't hit the lottery yet, knock on wood.
You'd say your summer went really well? Or okay?
I would have had a much better summer if I would have been able to stay home with these guys.
Nick, how did your summer go? Would you say it's a good summer? Went to a lot of places?
Yes.
What was your favorite place?
What was your favorite place to go?
Hershey.
Nice and loud, buddy.
Hershey.
And your favorite ride at Hershey?
Great Bear.
The Great Bears.
Yeah, I definitely think it was definitely a good summer. Nothing too. I think it's definitely there's definitely a couple parts that were very memorable. One in particular this summer, as we've said before, Hawaii was definitely very memorable this summer. Other than that, just I think a lot of things in terms of growth internally with me have really happened this summer. Just kind of the idea of what to do next, and how to take it by the. I can't say that. How to take it by the horns. Let's take the PG version. How to take it by the horns. So definitely looking forward to the next step.
Next step.
And
Well, and this week your friends are all leaving, right?
Yeah.
well,
One of
yeah.
your friends went off to college last weekend. A couple more are going out this coming weekend.
So just be me and the 2 or 3 that are still here. But who knows? I may go visit them come the fall or this coming spring on what happens. I still have a lot to think about in terms of what I do. So I haven't made my mind up on what I really want to finish, what I want to finish out and do, or just complete next. So definitely the next step in terms of evolution in my life is on the horizon for me in decision making. But definitely, I think overall good summer. I actually lost weight for one summer. I know I've said numerous times that I would lose weight each summer. This one I actually have. Lost about 28.5 pounds since the beginning of this year.
So about 30.
In the beginning of this year.
About 28.5.
Well, I like to keep. If there's anything I'm not gonna round about, it's my weight. But I've lost about 29 pounds since the beginning of this year, which I'm really excited for.
I think you're getting too skinny for that shirt.
No, I'm actually fitting this shirt finally.
John likes his shirt.
I'm ready to get that shirt.
I'm really thankful that I'm really thankful that my mother in particular has tried to take on this diet that we've kind of started together.
The shift in eating.
The shift in eating. This new shift in eating that we've tried to start over the past month. It's definitely helped both of us in terms of weight, and I think that's at least for the near future. I'm going to keep up. I will have 1 or 2 where I go back to old habits, but I have tried keeping up at least 5 days a week, or at least even six days a week. Of course, there's some things where I can't. There's some times where I just can't do it, whether it's family. But I definitely think a very evolving summer for me. Out of 10, good 9.
A 9 summer. Woo! Did I play any parts in this being a 9?
Huh?
Did I play any parts in there being a 9 summer?
No, you're the reason why it's not a 10.
Oh! Listen, gorgeous.
How about you?
I'm gonna give you a big kiss.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
I think
Talk about your summer. Talk about your summer.
guys. I think we're pretty much done eating.
Good
So
tacos.
I think we're gonna wrap it up. Yeah, these are really tasty. I really like this cheese, this BioLife cheese. Like Neil said about the shift in eating, we are trying to stay a little bit lower carb. And these aren't too bad. They're 4 grams per slice. So like I had only like a half a slice on my taco. So you know, it really wasn't too bad.
And the Beyond Meat.
Yeah, actually,
Very
if
low.
you guys are looking at lower carb, the Beyond beef crumbles, if you're counting net carbs, which some people count net carbs versus total carbs, the Beyond Meat is a 0 net carb. It's 1 carb and 1 fiber, which comes out to 0 net carbs. The Gardein, on the other hand, is 9 total carbs and 4 fiber. So per serving, this is 5 grams of carbs, and a serving is 3/4 of a cup. So it's actually a pretty big serving. But yeah, so if you're counting your carbs, or if you're watching your carbs, you can do it on a vegan diet. I know a lot of people are believe that you have to be high carb to be vegan, and you don't have to be. This whole meal, net carbs, like my 1 taco, net carbs was I think 12 or 13 with everything that I ate. So it's not horrible. It's not horrible. So and the only reason it was that high was because of the Gardein. I counted my ground round in as Gardein rather than the Beyond Meat. So I could have cut, I think, another 2 or 3 carbs off of there if we had used the Beyond Meat.
All
so,
Beyond Meat.
Yeah.
Now, Neil and I, we were a little higher carb tacos because of the Miyoko's cheese and then the salsa, but we were using the whole wheat.
Which is 4. Which is 4 net carbs. The
4
regular ones are 6.
6.
Yeah.
So
But-
we had a few carbs to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we chose to use them in cheese and salsa.
Yeah. So I mean,
Actually
it can
use
be
the
done.
carbs.
I think on our one of our recent videos we did get a comment saying that vegan is only high carb, and it's really not.
No.
I mean, you can definitely eat a lower carb vegan and
Okay.
still be vegan.
I would say you could definitely live around the 50 or below mark as putting all together out of a
As
day.
a vegan, yeah, especially because a lot of it's vegetables. A lot of vegan is vegetables, and it's got very high fiber. So
And as long as and there are a number of doctors that say, no, they don't say net carbs are for real, but they don't really count the carbs that are in vegetables or in fruit.
right.
Because
Well, they
of-
they do
I mean, they
count
count the
fruit,
fruit
but not
because of the
vegetables.
sugar, but
Yeah.
they don't count the vegetables because it takes your body a lot to process that fiber and get the nutrients out of it, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. So it's definitely possible. I mean, if it's something
You
like Neil said about losing weight, I've lost about 15 pounds just in the last 2 months, month and a half, doing more of a lower carb. So I mean, it's definitely possible, and it's definitely something that can be done in vegan if you want to, if that's what you're looking to do. So it's definitely possible. But anyway, not to espouse on that, not to get too involved in it. Like I said, I know a lot of vegans really focus on high carb, low fat. And it's not so much even, honestly, it's not so much even that we're like doing high fat, low carb, because I know that's a no-no for a lot of people. I think it's more just being cognizant of what we are eating.
And how much.
And how much. Like, I ate 1 taco, and before I was really watching the food that I was eating and taking into account the food that I was eating, I would have eaten maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Especially if they were the smaller shells.
Right.
But these are a little bit bigger shells. But even at the bigger shells, I probably would have eaten at least 2. Or 3, if I'm not like really paying attention to what I'm eating. And I think that's more of it. If you guys want us to talk about it in maybe like next week's mukbang or whatever, or the week after's, because I think we might be filming next week's mukbang tomorrow night maybe, but before this video posts. So if you want us to talk about maybe just some of the things that we're doing to actually pay attention more to what we're eating, not so much the full diet, but more just how we're paying attention more to the food we're eating, rather than, you know, specifics about like what's what and all that stuff. Let us know. We can definitely have a conversation, maybe even if it's just me and Neil, because me and Neil have been doing this for longer. John's sort of been doing it for like the last week or two.
I'm not overtly committed.
But Neil and I have really been paying attention more to what we've been intaking.
Viva la sauce!
Her more than me, as you saw. I ate
Nick,
three.
get your finger
I ate 3 tacos, but I usually try and eat during these things a lot of the times to give people a lot more time to talk.
Yeah. So if you guys are curious about, like I said, it's not so much watching everything we're eating. It's more just being more cognizant of what we're putting into our bodies. So if you're curious, let us know. We will never really be a wake up and have a green smoothie, have a salad for lunch, and then have another vegetable with rice for dinner. We are lazy vegans or lazy eaters. I mean, that's just, I'll be perfectly honest. We rely heavily on things that are, you know, packaged, which is why we do the taste test videos, because that's something that we really need to be able to have. Because I work, you know, all day. John works all day, not in the summers, but during the school year, we're both at work. Neil's a full-time student, Nick's a full-time student. So we don't necessarily have a lot of time to be doing meal prep. And I know a lot of people do like meal prep on Sunday nights, but that's just not really like fits our life.
We want to be able to live our life right now while it's manageable.
Continuously.
Yeah. So anyhow, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up down below. If you haven't already and you would like to be, please hit that red subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the little bell to notify you when we do upload new videos. And if you have any comments, leave those in the comment section down below. Like I said, if you guys are interested in having us have that conversation, just let us know. We can definitely talk about that. It's not a big deal. It's not too hard to talk about. So anyhow, we hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on the next Omnis Vegan. Bye.